Hey guys, I said I was going to have a video this week, and here it is. So this video, this vlog, is going to be about my exes, specifically 4 of them. And I chose this video to do now because I think it's one of the most hilarious things in my life, and it's constantly brought up to me by my friends and family. So I figure I'll talk about it and let other people know my story. So this is about my ex-girlfriends. Like I said, 4 of them specifically. Their names have been slightly altered just because I guess I can be nice. So I'm going to tell you about Mandy, Feather, Desire, and Tater. So let's just start off at the very first actual girlfriend I ever had. And her name was Mandy. We started dating in 6th grade, so we were clearly really together. And in 6th grade, I left the junior high school that I was at to go to a second one, and then in 7th grade I went to a third one. But at my first junior high school, which was Gila Vista in Yuma, Arizona, I met this girl named Mandy, and I fell in childish love with her. Literally told her I loved her a few times before. And I do actually still care about her today. Not in the same way that I did way back when, but what can you do? So we dated off and on for about 4 years. Started in 6th grade, dated a little bit in 7th grade, a little bit in 8th grade, dated 2 different times in 9th grade, and then once in 10th grade as well. Every time that we broke up, though, she somehow, in her mind, decided that it would be a good idea to date someone that I was really close friends with. One would even say best friends with. So first she dated my best friend in 6th grade after I left, which his name was Taylor. I'm just going to say his name, I don't care. His name was Taylor. And then 7th grade, I went to this out-of-the-way middle school, and it was something about wolves were the mascot. I don't know. I don't remember. It was only a few months. But I became really close friends with him. His name is Jonathan. He went a little crazy, though. I think I haven't heard from him in a while, since about 3 years ago. I think the last time I talked to him was in 2012, when I was still in high school. So she would date these guys and then come running back to me, of course, because I was stable. But yeah, so we dated a little bit. One time we had a date where we went to the mall together, and we were going to see a movie, and then she decided that there wasn't enough time for her, so she decided not to go see the movie. So we ate pretzels or something, and then she left an hour early than we had discussed the date would be long enough to be. Yeah, so we didn't have the best relationship ever, and we stopped talking for a little bit, and then 2011, so I'm in 11th grade actually, excuse me, 2012, It was around the time I was about to graduate. She emailed me on Facebook and told me that she was pregnant. Now I know it's not mine because I had been living away from her for 2 years already, and at this point she had just moved to Texas. That doesn't really give away her identity, I guess. She moved to Texas, and she fell in love with this guy, and he got her pregnant, and she told me story upon story about how he abused her emotionally and physically, which I don't doubt that. But at the same time, several other relationships she broke up of hers were because of physical and emotional abuse. Which again, if it's true and it did happen, I utterly feel for her. And I'm glad that she would come to me and talk to me about it. But after a while, if you keep hearing it, it does kind of sound like a story. So anyway, she ended up pregnant in Texas, living with her mom, and about 4 months ago, she messages me on Facebook again. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, nothing. My baby daddy's in jail and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. I don't know how to respond to that. But okay. So she goes on to say that she is looking for someone to take care of her and her baby. More specifically, me. She was asking if I would move to Texas to take care of her and her baby. Now, I had just moved to North Carolina. And also, I'm not looking right now to take care of a child because I'm 20 and still in college and definitely not ready for a child. That's almost 2 years old already. So I have stopped talking to her because on one end of the spectrum, I do care for her because she was my first love and everything. But on the other end, she's kind of crazy. A little bit, yeah. Her asking me to come take care of her and her baby really set it over the edge. So that was story number 1. The next 2 stories kind of happened coincidentally. This was Feather and Desire. This was in Nebraska when I was working at McDonald's, and this new girl came to school, and her mom worked with us at McDonald's, and she seemed like a pretty cool girl. At the same time, that was Desiree, by the way. Sorry. Desire. Dang it. Oh well. I don't care. Whatever. Okay, so Desiree was the daughter of the girl that worked at McDonald's. Anyways, at the same time, Feather showed a large amount of interest in me romantically. So I let Feather know. Oh, and also at the same time, Feather and Desiree were becoming best friends. Really, really close best friends. And I feel like a lot of it had to do with their attractiveness to me, because from what I understand, that's mainly what they talked about. So yeah, so I started dating Desiree first, and I told Feather that it wasn't a good time right now, and blah, blah, blah. Basically, I didn't want a 2-time between the girls. which honestly saying it really makes me feel like it didn't really happen, but I have the letters to prove it. So me and Desiree were talking. We had the same English class together, so we sat next to each other. People kind of knew we were dating. We held hands in school, stuff like that. She sat on my lap at lunch, the cool stuff. And one day, she just stopped showing up to school. And then a few days later, while I was at work, her mother came in to talk to me because her mother had not seen her for a few days. So we're talking, and I'm like, no, I haven't seen her. What was the last thing that happened? Blah, 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 stuff like that. And she tells me that she has no clue where her daughter is, what her daughter's doing. So every day when I went into English class, we would be talking about something, and our English teacher, this was my senior year, so my English teacher was hilarious. I don't want to say her name because I feel like she would probably hit me, but she was one of those kind of teachers. She was funny, and she was cool, and stuff like that. So every once in a while, she would make a joke about people disappearing and be like, just like our Desiree here. Do you even know what happened to her, Nick? Because she knew that we were dating too. And I didn't know, so I was like, so funny, guys, so funny. So we left. Excuse me. I guess we had broken up by that point. And she was actually highly saddened because I told her I wouldn't go to prom with her because I didn't want to go to prom in general. And actually, the only reason I went to my senior prom was because my friend Marlisa stabbed me into going. Literally stabbed me with a marker. Let me show you. You know how marker caps have the little circular part? She stabbed me in the arm, and it cut me open while we were at work. So that happened. So instead of going to prom with her, I went to prom with my friend Marlisa and my friend Mallory and stuff like that. And at the same time, I started dating Feather. And Feather was really nice, actually. The entire time I talked to her, I flirted with her through text messages and stuff like that. And about 3 or 4 weeks into our dating, into our dating thing, she asked me to come to her aunt's farm, which was about 40 minutes away, and it was a farm, so I was like, am I gonna get murdered? She was like, no, it's cool, just come out, we'll play with my cousin, watch movies and stuff, and eat. So I go with her, and it was fun for a little bit. Her cousins were a lot of fun. They were two younger guys, like 13, 14-ish, or 12 and 13, something like that. So they were into video games and having fun, jumping around on things, kid stuff. And then we sat down for dinner around the very tiny table, and it was this weird concoction of like corn and bread, and it was kind of like stuffing, and I think there was a meat involved, but I'm not sure what it was. It might have been pork or chicken or turkey. I have no clue. Then after we ate dinner, we all sat down to watch Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which is the fifth in the series, if you don't know, which I still to this day have not actually seen, because we were sitting there and we were holding hands underneath the blanket, the sweet stuff that I'm totally into. And she tells me that, no, sorry, I actually fell asleep about 10 minutes into the movie. And I woke up almost at the end of it, actually. So that was a lot of fun, because I slept for about an hour and a half, until we decided to leave, and I sat in the back seat of her mom's car and watched the stars by myself. Even when I was with someone, I was very lonely. And so, a few weeks after that event happened, we kind of just drifted apart, and I was like, hey, I don't think we're working out. Clearly, there's something wrong. When you wanted to spend time with me, I wanted to sleep, and stuff like that. So we broke up. And then a little while after that, I get an email, well, a Facebook message from Desiree. And she basically emails me apologizing and saying that she really did care for me and that she hopes I would forgive her and stuff like that. And I was like, I really don't care. This is high school. I'm not looking to make lifelong connections. So her mom comes up to me at work one day and she's like, Did you hear? Did you hear what my daughter did? I was like, she ran away. I'm not sure what else there is to that. And she tells me that her daughter ran away to go sleep with a priest in Michigan or Minnesota or Montana, an M state, which actually hurt my feelings because I feel like I'm generally a better person than a priest would be, just because of, celibacy vows and stuff like that. But no, she left me in the middle of our tits, T-I-D-S-T, tits, to go and sleep with a priest in an M state. And then she got pregnant. And that was enjoyable to find out about. So I moved to a bigger city in Nebraska, and I start posting Facebook posts about my exes. And this girl that I knew from the high school that I went to in Arizona starts Facebook messaging me saying, oh, I love your stories, they're really good, I'm so sorry that so many things have happened to you, stuff like that. So we get to talking, and eventually we build it up to where we're talking every day, and then multiple times a day, and we build it up to where we are actually in a long distance relationship, and she loved the idea of being intimate, and I will say I did enjoy the idea, but it was just the idea for me, not the ability to. So we would text each other like almost 24/7. And this went on for about 4 months. She was my person that I spent New Year's Eve with, but it was long distance. And so one night she asks me to call her, which I did. I had no problem calling her, and I talked her to sleep, and we did this a few nights a week. Not every night, because I have issues with phone calls. And so we continue talking for a good month after we started doing phone calls, and she's like, hey, I want to have phone sex with you. Now, I already have an issue with phone calls. I can talk someone to sleep. That's easy for me. Jumping it up about 20 steps into phone sex is not something I'm comfortable with, and I made the mistake of lying to her, basically. I told her that it would feel awkward because I was living in the same house as my sister, and they would generally be in the living room when I went to bed and stuff like that. So I lied to her, and I didn't tell her that I just couldn't do it. So we start talking less, and then one day we just stopped talking. And I was on Facebook one day, and one of her friends had tagged her in a post saying, where are you? We miss you. Can you come back home? So I go to her Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Turns out she ran away from home a little bit after we broke up, about 2 weeks after we broke up. Well, we never formally broke up. We just kind of drifted apart. So she ran away from home, making it the second person to run away from home either while or very soon after dating me. But she's the only one that didn't end up pregnant, because Heather ended up pregnant as soon as I graduated college. She ended up pregnant. Dang it, Feather. Oh, I almost had it too. Okay, darn it. Okay. Anyways, I didn't even say the Yuma girl's name. Tater. Yeah. So yeah, that is my video about exes. I hope you guys liked it, and I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep because of how sad my life has turned out in relation to dating. As far as dating now, I'm actually attempting a long distance relationship, but it's not defined as that yet. We're just talking. So yeah, I have had a pretty sad history with people, dating people. So that was the video that I promised you guys, and I hope you guys like it. I'm going to try to do a video every week. Not going to be as long as this one, but hopefully they'll be good, and I hope that you guys like them. So I will see you guys at a later point in time. Thanks, and have a great night. Bye.